So my question for you, and feel free to answer the question first, but my question for you in particular was, did you find when you were writing your cryptids that you were venturing into this area of having to invent something totally new, or did you borrow a lot from real animals?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's definitely a mixture of a few things, because some of these cryptids are pretty wild. Like I've got a fire-breathing fish in the first story. So
Can I ask one real quick question?
Yes.
Did you use real cryptids?
Mm-hmm.
I realize that's a funny question, but
these are real, potentially real animals.
Potentially real.
Lots of them are based on the animals that have washed ashore.
People didn't know what they
carcasses.
were.
They didn't know what they were. The first one was is Gambo, and it washed ashore in the Gambia in 1983, I think. And they thought it was maybe a prehistoric dolphin, maybe it was a mosasaur, the last of the mosasaurs. They weren't sure. And and people were coming down to look at it. Everyone got down to scientifically document it. They chopped it up into pieces and buried it in the sand. And I thought, this is perfect. I can do whatever I want with this. And so I went real crazy with it. And magnesium can burn underwater. I was like, let's create an animal that can burn, that can create its own oxygen underwater by burning it and then getting by on huffing the fumes.
That's very cool.
And that's interesting because we're creating sciences that act like magic. You know, the fire-breathing dragon, you could have an animal that methane or distilled propane or something like that, and then had something like flint in its mouth to ignite it. You know, so you can do things like this and not break the laws and say, hey, this is magic.
Yeah, totally.
Or magnesium in water.
Yeah, I did something like that in World of Europe. I have a basilisk in this volcanic region of Misha, which is one of the continents that the characters go to, and it's this big snaky vulture-looking creature, and it breathes fire. And I was watching in my mind. I'm like, how does it breathe fire? Because at one point it has this rope that's hooked around the inside of its jaw. I'm like, if it breathes fire, it's going to burn right through the rope. That can't happen. And then I watched it carefully, and what happened was it has this long, awful tongue that scrapes along that flints the roof of its mouth, casts sparks, and then the fire begins a ways away from its face, and all that caustic, awful gas comes out from ignites the
Very
fire.
clever. That's very clever.
But yeah,
So
and
we
then,
couldn't burn the rope into that.
exactly. So
the fire's not really coming
the column
from here,
of fire
it's-
is like hovering in front of its face, and
Yeah.
so it's igniting with the
Like
sparks.
WD-40, if you ever light
Yeah.
fires like that.
Well, that's what I like about it. It's one of those things that my mind goes, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'm going, I've never heard anybody think that before, and yet it's like I went, oh yeah, I've seen that, you know,
Exactly. And
which is like the effect you want.